It begins in January, in the schools. Over 45,000 of them.
The Mediterranean Sea separates Europe from each other's continents.
The Missouri River joins the Mississippi River just north of which
All across the USA, students, nearly 6 million, grades 4 through 8, test their knowledge of geography.
From Barcelona, Spain, to Naples, Italy, in which cardinal direction would you travel?
East. The region that has the world's largest known oil reserves is made up of countries that border a gulf in southwestern Asia.
Persian Gulf.
Eventually, the field is narrowed. Competition moves to a higher level. In each state, 100 top-scoring students vie for the title of state champion.
Our congratulations to our winner, Mark Barnes.
And congratulations to Jeff Rady.
The statewide winner of the National Geography Bee for 1993, Stephen Edwards.
The field is narrowed once again. Now, down to 57 students. 2 days ago, they arrived here in Washington, D.C. One from each of the 50 states, the 5 U.S. territories, the District of Columbia, and the Department of Defense schools.
Hinduism? That's correct.
The Ohio?
That's incorrect. The correct answer is Mississippi.
After grueling preliminary rounds, 10 finalists emerged to compete for $50,000 in college scholarships. Welcome to the final round of the National Geography Bee, 1993. The National Geography Bee is made possible by Amtrak, which provides service to over 500 cities nationwide. Helping you to discover America, Amtrak is proud to support the National Geography Bee.
Well, it looks a little strange, but I've got news for you. You're right, and you're the champ. Congratulations. $25,000 for you. Thank you. You're the new champion. Our champion of the 1991 National Geography Bee, David Stillman of Idaho. Lots and fight, congratulations. You are the 1992 National Geography Bee champion.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the next 60 minutes, one of these 10 students will earn the title of National Geography Bee champion 1993. From the state of South Dakota, Matt Conrad. From California, Jory Heck. From Maryland, Jeff Rady. From Pennsylvania, Jeff Hoppers. From Michigan, Noel Jerry. From Utah, Matt Newbold. From Hawaii, Scott McCord. From Ohio, Nathan Ostrander. From Rhode Island, Michael Ring. From New York, Michael Lapatina. And now, the host of the National Geography Bee, Mr. Alex Trebek.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 1993 National Geography Bee. We are coming to you once again from the Grosvenor Auditorium at the National Geographic Society in Washington, D.C. And I am, of course, delighted to be here for this 5th anniversary celebration. For those of you who are not familiar with our competition, let me explain briefly what is about to take place. The competition is in 2 parts. First, we have the final round in which all 10 players will compete. This is a round in which each player is allowed to make 2 mistakes. Each time a contestant responds incorrectly to a question, one of the panel lights in front of that student will go out. When both panel lights have gone out, that player is eliminated from further competition. We will play the final round until we have come down to just 2 finalists. Then we start with a clean slate and we go into the championship round. Players, you are all familiar with the rules, so I will remind you that if you want me to repeat a question or to spell a word in the question, you must ask me to do so immediately, and you will be allowed only 2 such requests during the competition. So listen very carefully as I read each question. For all of the questions in the competition, you will have 12 seconds to give an answer. We have to start somewhere, and so Matt Conrad, we will begin with you. The first round has oral answer questions only. Here is yours. The Danube flows primarily in which cardinal direction?
East.
You are right. Jory Hecht of California. What degree of latitude is exactly halfway between the equator and either pole?
45 degrees.
Yes. Jeff Rady of Maryland. According to the Beaufort scale, what term is used for winds classified as force 12 or above?
Hurricane.
Yes. Jeff Hoppus. The Apennines form a divide in which European country?
Italy.
Right. Noel Erangeri of Michigan. Argentina and which other country lie along the eastern boundary of Chile?
Bolivia.
Right. Matthew Newbold of Utah. The Gambia in West Africa is almost completely surrounded by which other country?
Senegal.
Yes. Scott McCord of Hawaii. The Oder and Nysa rivers form most of the boundary between Germany and which other country?
France.
Oh, sorry, you went to the wrong border. You should have gone east instead. The correct response, Poland. So one mistake for you only. Nathan Ostrander of Ohio. Which country extends from the Himalaya in the north to Cape Comorin in the south?
India.
Right. Michael Ring. Indonesia's most populous island is the site of its capital city. Name this island.
Java.
Right. And finally, Michael Lapatina of New York. Name the only one of the Great Lakes that does not border the state of Michigan.
Lake Ontario.
You are right, and that concludes our first round. Well done, players. You can relax for a few moments. It is obvious, ladies and gentlemen, from this first series of questions that these students have studied very hard to make it here today, and there is a great deal at stake. As you know, a $10,000 scholarship will be awarded to our third-place finisher, $15,000 for second place, and $25,000 for first place. Now, although only one of you will become champion today, I think everyone here will agree with me when I say that these students have accomplished a remarkable feat. When you consider that a few months ago, 6 million students took part in the preliminary rounds of the National Geography Bee, and we are left with these 10. The odds, you have beaten some very amazing odds, so congratulations to all of you. Now let's find out a little bit about each one of you. Matt Conrad of South Dakota, I'm going to begin with you. It says here that you have competed in band contests for 3 years, and you have a very special artist who is your role model. I want to hear about that individual.
Well, my role model is Natalie Merchant, the lead singer for the 10,000 Maniacs.
10,000 Maniacs. I'm not familiar with that group. What is it about Natalie that really impresses you?
Well, she speaks her mind and is not afraid to stand up for herself.
Are your parents in our auditorium today?
Yeah,
If I were to ask them if Matt speaks his mind, what do you think they would say?
probably. Yeah.
You do? All right. What instrument do you play?
The trumpet.
The trumpet. Ah, all right. Good instrument. Nice having you here. Jory Hecht of California is bright not only in matters such as geography, but he likes the outdoors as well. He was the 6th grade math Olympiad champion, and he recently completed an 18-mile hike where?
In Yosemite National Park. It was actually last summer. I walked from Glacier Point all the way to the back of Half Dome with the cables and back down the Merced River on the Mist Trail to Curry Village.
Now, you didn't do this all by yourself, Jory, right?
No.
Who else was with you?
Oh, a whole bunch of people from my summer camp.
All about your age?
Yeah, not including the staff.
How long did it take you to do the 18 miles?
From 8 in the morning to 9 at night.
Oh, I bet you were tired when it was done, huh?
I think so.
Okay. Jeff Rady didn't have to travel very far to be with us today. He is the Geography Bee champion for the state of Maryland. Do you have a lot of people in the audience cheering you on today, Jeff?
Just my brother. My parents are in Australia.
Oh, I see. I understand you like to travel a great deal also, and you've been to Europe a few times?
Yeah, I've been to Europe 4 times.
Oh.
The first time I was really little, but the last 3 times have been,
You have a favorite country over there? Favorite place to visit?
Germany, mostly Northwest Europe.
Northwest Europe. Have you been to Belgium?
Yeah.
Yeah, you like it there?
Yeah.
Okay. Jeff Hoppus from Pennsylvania is the smallest competitor in our tournament. He is using, is it 1 telephone directory under you, Jeff, or 2?
No, there's a cushion here, but...
They gave you a cushion.
Yeah, they gave me a cushion.
Now, it says here, and I hope it was not just because you knew I was going to be the host, but it says that you practiced for this tournament by watching a lot of Jeopardy programs?
Yes.
You know we have a lot of geography clues
Correct.
on our program. Jeff, you have any brothers or sisters here?
No, I'm an only child.
Only child. This young man weighed 2 pounds 4 ounces at birth and taught himself to read at the age of 3. So we're looking at a very special young individual. Noel Arangeri is special also. He was in our tournament last year. He finished 4th. He was one of the 10 finalists. You figure that gives you a little bit of an advantage this year, Noel, because you're a veteran and you should be more relaxed, are you?
A little.
A little? Now, Noel is a Trekkie. He is a fan of the Star Trek series, and recently I flew cross-country with Jimmy Doohan, who plays on the old Star Trek series, Scotty. Maybe Noel is not as big a Star Trek fan as he says he is. Are you a fan of the new series?
Yeah.
Oh, the new series. Oh, I understand it. You don't remember the old series then?
No.
How old are you, Noel?
14.
14. I have food in my refrigerator older than you. Matt Newbold from Layton, Utah. He doesn't want to talk about geography today. He wants to talk about chess. All right, let's talk about chess. Have you entered competitions?
Yeah, once.
Once? How well did you do?
Got 3-1, which means I won 3 games and lost 1.
That's pretty good going. Who taught you to play chess?
I taught myself. We have a chess club at school.
And you taught yourself?
Yeah.
Do you want to continue in chess competitions and perhaps compete internationally?
Yeah.
Yeah? All right, well, good luck to you there, and good luck to you today. The young man next to you, Scott McCord, is from Kailua, Hawaii. He probably traveled farther than anyone else to be here today, and so we're delighted to have you here. You do want to talk about geography, because you are interested in that subject.
Yeah, I just love reading atlases, maps, anything that contains geography, magazines, books. I like to watch Jeopardy.
Good. Good response. Now, your interest in geography, is that likely to help you later on in life? Are you interested in pursuing a career in that field somehow?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah? A cartographer, perhaps?
Yeah, possibly.
Teacher?
I don't know.
Oh. Well, I should have stopped at cartographer. Nathan Ostrander from Madison, Ohio. Nathan is a multi-talented young man. He won the Ohio Trivia Challenge. He is going to be a participant in the National Spelling Bee very soon, and he is a finalist in the Geography Bee here today. Which one of these areas do you feel strongest in, Nathan?
Probably geography.
Yeah? Do you like it more than the others? You compete in the others because you're good, but you like competing in the geography?
I do like geography more.
Yeah? How do you prepare for this kind of an event?
Read atlases, reference books, National Geographic, publications.
Has your teacher been a lot of help to you in preparing for this?
Yeah, somewhat.
Career in politics for you. Michael Ring, the representative from Rhode Island, does not live in Rhode Island. You live in Massachusetts?
That's true. I live in Milford, Massachusetts, which is just across the border from Woonsocket, Rhode Island. That's where I go to school.
I see. Now, you're interested in a career in meteorology?
That's correct.
Does that mean meteorology working behind the scenes, or a meteorologist working in front of the cameras on your local television station, perhaps?
Well, I'd like to work in both for a little while. I've always wanted to work on TV, but I'd also like to do some research with meteorology in regard to the physical and chemical aspects.
Of course. Michael Lapatina from New York is the youngest competitor in our group of finalists. Michael, how old are you?
11.
11 years old. You know how remarkable it is for you to be here today at 11 years old? I was just learning to tie my shoelaces. I still can't do it very well. I still wear loafers all the time. It says here you'd like to become a travel book writer, perhaps, in the future. What is it about travel that excites you?
Well, it's fun to go new places, new people.
Where have you been that was a lot of fun?
Here.
Is this the most exciting thing that's happened to you all year?
Yeah.
All right, and it'll be a lot more exciting if you win this event, I know. Ladies and gentlemen, here are the finalists for the 1993 Geography Bee. Well, it's time now to return to the business at hand, and for our next series of questions, young gentlemen, you'll be looking at photographs of expeditions or research efforts that have helped to expand our geographic knowledge. Please take out your booklets, but keep them closed until it's your turn to respond. Matt, we'll begin with you. I want you to open your booklet and look at the photograph on page 1. And here it is for the audience. You have it? Anthropologist Mary Leakey's research into the origin of humans led to her discovery of these fossilized hominid footprints near Olduvai Gorge. Her discovery was made southeast of the Serengeti Plain. In which country?
Kenya?
Oh, sorry. You had a choice there, I know, between Tanzania and Kenya. You picked the wrong one. The right response is Tanzania. Let's go now to Jory. Open your booklet. Look at the photograph on page 2, Jory. These wolves on Canada's northernmost island were studied by David Misch during his research into the behavior of various Arctic animals. These wolves live on which island in the Canadian Arctic?
Ellesmere Island.
Ellesmere is right. Yes, you didn't need the 12 seconds. Jeff, take a look at the photo on page 3. Thor Heyerdahl's Ra 2, built primarily of reeds and rope, battled the Atlantic to prove Heyerdahl's theory that such boats could have linked the ancient civilizations of the Mediterranean with those of the Americas. Ra 2 sailed from Morocco to Bridgetown, capital of which island in the Lesser Antilles? Jeff?
Grenada?
No. Correct response, Barbados. Barbados. That's one miss for you. Let's go to Jeff Hoffes from Pennsylvania. Open your booklet. Take a look at the photograph on page 4, Jeffrey. Geologist Israel Russell, on his 1890 expedition to the region of Mount St. Elias, discovered and named Mount Logan, Canada's highest peak. This peak is in which of Canada's political units?
The Yukon Territory?
Right. Noel, take a look at the photo on page 5. Birute Galdikas has spent more than 2 decades studying orangutans in the rainforests of southwestern Borneo. Name the country that has been the site of her research.
Indonesia?
Indonesia, yes, you are correct. Let's go down to Matthew Newbold. Take a look at the photo on page 6, Matt. Former National Geographic staff writer-photographer Lewis Marden discovered pieces from the wreck of the famous Bounty while diving off Pitcairn Island. This British ship had set sail for the West Indies from which Pacific island? The largest in what is now French Polynesia.
Tahiti?
Yes. Scott, photograph on page 7 for you. In 1869, a one-armed Civil War veteran and his crew were the first to map 1,000 miles of canyon lands from Wyoming through Arizona's Grand Canyon. Some of these canyons now lie beneath the waters of which reservoir that bears the explorer's name?
DeSoto?
No, sorry. The response is Powell. Sorry about that, Scott. Nathan, take a look at the photograph on page 8. Marine biologist Eugenie Clark's studies of shark behavior have led to a new understanding of these mysterious creatures. This shark swims off Cozumel Island, near which North American peninsula?
Yucatan Peninsula.
You are right. Michael Ring, take a look at the photo on page 9. You got it? In the 1960s, Frank and John Craighead pioneered the use of radio collars to track grizzly bears like this one. Their study was focused in which western national park, largest in the contiguous United States?
Yellowstone?
Right. Michael, take a look at the photo on page 10. There you go. In the 1920s, Neil Judd led several expeditions to a remote area of the southwestern United States to explore and excavate Pueblo Bonito in Chaco Canyon. Ruins of this prehistoric community are in which U.S. state?
New Mexico?
New Mexico is right. And that concludes our second series. And Scott McCord, we have to say goodbye to you. Thank you for being with us. Gentlemen, our next series of questions concerns musical instruments of the world, and you'll be pleased to know that I will not be playing the instruments for you. Before I read each question, the winner of a state geography bee will come on stage carrying a musical instrument, while Bill Jenkins, a multicultural music educator, will give us a taped demonstration of how that instrument is to be played. After I finish reading the question, players, you will each have 12 seconds to give me your response. May we have the first musical instrument, please? Our first instrument is being presented by Andrew McKenzie, the Oklahoma State Geography Bee champion. Matt Conrad. Although this didgeridoo is made of eucalyptus wood, it can be classified as a primitive brass instrument. The didgeridoo is one of the principal instruments of people native to which continent?
Australia?
Yes. May we have our next instrument, please? And this one is being presented by Josh Taylor, the Kentucky State Geography Bee champion. Jory, unlike other lutes, the balalaika has a triangular rather than a pear-shaped body. Since the 18th century, this guitar-like instrument has been most commonly associated with which country, stretching from the Baltic to the Pacific?
Russia?
Right. Our next instrument, please. This one is being presented by A.J. Stalliard, the Virgin Islands Geography Bee champion. The body of this stringed instrument, Jeff, called a charango, is made from the bony plates of an armadillo. The charango, like most armadillos, is associated with which continent that spans the equator?
South America?
Right. Good move. Our next instrument, please. Presented by Celeste Miller, the Oregon State Geography Bee champion. Jeff Hoppus? The koto, a kind of long zither that is placed horizontally and strummed or plucked, is considered to be the national instrument of which Asian country?
Japan?
Japan, yes. Next instrument, please. This instrument being presented by Teresa Conlon, the Missouri State Geography Bee champion. No, the thumb piano is played by twanging different lengths of metal or cane strips that are attached to a gourd or a piece of wood. Although now common in parts of Central and South America, the thumb piano originated on which other continent, where it is known by regional names such as kalimba and likembe?
Africa?
Africa, yes, you are right. Our next instrument, being presented by Will Turner, the Arkansas State Geography Bee champion. Castanets, similar to these, were known to the ancient civilizations of the Mediterranean. Matthew Newbold, today they are most commonly associated with the Andalusian region of which country?
Spain?
Spain is right. Nathan Ostrander, you'll be next. Here comes our next instrument. is being presented by Jonathan Wingate, the South Carolina State Geography B champion. This kind of harp, used by an Indo-European people who settled in the British Isles more than 2,000 years ago, has become the national symbol of which European country?
Wales.
Oh, sorry. You were close. You had to cross the water and go to Ireland. Ireland. So that's one miss for you. Michael Ring of Rhode Island. Our next instrument being presented by Will Linden, the Alabama State Geography B champion. This goblet-shaped drum, called a darabuka, is a popular instrument in the Middle East and North Africa. The darabuka is part of the musical tradition of people who are united by which language?
Arabic.
Yes. And now, Michael Lapatina. Our final instrument being presented by Brendan Melander, the Idaho State Geography B champion. Although marimba is an African word for a xylophone, such as this one, the term is most commonly associated with the folk music of Mexico and which neighboring country?
Guatemala.
Right. Well done, Michael. I have just been informed that in the previous round, Scott McCord's booklet did not contain a photo to which he could refer, which makes it a little tougher, don't you think? And so we are bringing him back. In that case, I believe we should have another musical instrument for Scott. May we have that instrument now, please? This instrument is being presented by Marcus Lucier, the Northern Marianas Geography B champion. Scott, this tiktiri, or bing, is a double clarinet that is made of two cane pipes fitted into a gourd. This instrument, which is used by snake charmers, is most commonly associated with which country?
India.
India is right. Yes. Before we move on to the next round, I would like to thank Bill Jenkins and the House of Musical Traditions for the use of these musical instruments and for the videotape performances which we have just enjoyed. For our next question, players, you will need your paper and your pen or pencil. All of you get to write your response at the same time. You'll not be penalized for inaccurate spelling or pronunciation so long as our judges can be assured that you do know the correct question. Here is the question for you. A peninsula that extends into the Black Sea has become the focus of a territorial dispute between Ukraine and Russia. Name this peninsula. Matt Conrad, we'll begin with you. What did you put down as your response?
Crimea.
Crimea is right. Jory.
Crimea.
Crimea, yes. Jeff Rady.
Didn't have an answer.
You didn't have an answer, and that means the second light goes out for you. Stay there for a few moments, Jeff. Jeffrey Hoppus?
Crimea.
Crimea, correct. Noel?
Crimea.
Crimea is right. Matthew?
Crimea.
Right.
Crimea.
Scott says Crimea also. Nathan?
Crimean Peninsula.
Yes. Michael Ring?
Crimean Peninsula also.
Correct. And Michael?
Crimea.
Crimea is right. And so, Jeff, we have to say goodbye to you. Congratulations on getting this far, Jeff. Players, for our next series of questions, you'll need to look at a map that shows regions commonly associated with various groups of Native Americans. So take out your booklets and turn to page 12. And if you don't have a map on page 12, please tell me now. Players, each of you in turn will be given information about a group or groups of Native Americans and asked to give the number of the region associated with the people in that particular question. I assume you've had enough time to study the map, and so we'll begin once again with Matt Conrad. Here is your clue. Salmon, eagles, and killer whales are among the animals commonly carved by the Tlingit and Kwakiutl on their cedar totems. Give the number of the region that is home to these Native Americans?
6.
6 is right. Jory Hecht. Navajo sheep herders who live on the largest Navajo reservation in the United States are known for the high quality of the wool produced by their sheep. Give the number of the region that includes this reservation.
16.
Right. Jeffrey? By the early 1500s, diseases introduced by Europeans and the expansion of sugarcane plantations had drastically reduced the number of Native Americans called Arawaks. Give the number of the region that was once the home of large numbers of these Native Americans.
18.
18, you are right. Noel? The Creek, Choctaw, and Cherokee were among the Native Americans who left their homelands and traveled the so-called Trail of Tears in the mid-1800s. Give the number of the region that was the homeland these people left.
15.
15 is right. Matthew Newbold. In the late 1800s, the Nez Perce were moved to a reservation near where the Snake River joins the Columbia. Give the number of the region that is the site of the Nez Perce Reservation.
7.
Yes. Scott McCord. The Paiute and Shoshone are among the Native Americans who became master foragers of everything from seeds to grasshoppers in an arid region characterized by parallel valleys and seasonal temperature extremes. Give the number of the region that is the homeland of these Native Americans.
13.
13 is right. Nathan? Native Americans whose homeland includes the continent's taiga forests are divided into two major language groups, Algonquian and Athapascan. Give the number of the region that is the homeland of these people.
4.
Correct. Michael Ring. The Zapotec, Nahuatl, and Lacandon people are descendants of Native Americans who were members of some of the most advanced pre-Columbian civilizations. Give the number of the region that traditionally has been the homeland of these people.
17.
Yes. Michael? The Cheyenne and Blackfeet were among the many groups of Native Americans whose lifestyles were dramatically changed by the acquisition of horses. Give the number of the region that traditionally has been the homeland of these Native Americans.
8.
8 is right. Don't say anything else. That ends this round, players. Put your booklets away. All of the remaining final round questions will require oral responses only. Matt Conrad. The geological feature that cuts through the highlands of East Africa from the Red Sea to Mozambique is known by what name?
The Great Rift Valley.
Correct. Jory, the Jura mountain range forms a natural boundary between Switzerland and which other country to the west?
France.
Yes. Jeffrey, the success of Peter the Great's trade with countries to the west of Russia was based on the establishment of a port that had access to which sea?
The Baltic Sea.
Right. Noel, name one of Denmark's self-governing possessions.
Greenland.
Greenland is right. The Faroe Islands would have been correct as well. Matthew Newbold, Central America's largest country in terms of area was under U.S. control from 1912 to 1933. Name this country.
Nicaragua.
Right. Scott McCord, Taoism, a philosophy that emphasizes a simple approach to life and living in harmony with nature, originated in which Asian country?
India.
Sorry, China is the correct response. Nathan Ostrander, 3 decades ago, the Tassidae people were discovered living in caves on the island of Mindanao. In which country?
The Philippines.
Right. Michael, name the country in the southwestern Pacific that is the world's leading exporter of lamb and butter.
New Zealand.
Yes. Michael, the Olmec, one of the first advanced cultures of Middle America, lived in what are now the states of Veracruz and Tabasco. In which country?
Mexico.
That is correct. And that does it for this round. Scott, for the second time, we say goodbye. Matt, we continue this final round. The next question is yours. The flags of the 5 Nordic countries all have a similar design element or symbol on a solid background. Name the design element for me.
A cross.
Cross is right. An oil pipeline, Jory, from Iraq reaches the Mediterranean by passing through which non-Arab country to the north?
Turkey.
Turkey is right. Jeffrey? During the 19th century, Ireland and the south and the northernmost Scandinavian country lost the greatest proportions of their populations through emigration to the United States. Name this Scandinavian country.
Norway.
Right. Noel. The word polis, P-O-L-I-S, which is used in English as a suffix for such geographical terms as metropolis and megalopolis, is used in its language of origin to refer to a community of citizens. Name this language.
Greek.
Yes. Matthew. Commercial jetliners cruise in the lower region of which layer of the Earth's atmosphere to take advantage of the jet stream while avoiding the turbulence caused by thunderstorms?
Troposphere.
Ooh, sorry. Correct response is stratosphere. Now we go to Nathan. Carthage was the center of an ancient empire that flourished in part because of its control of trade through the Strait of Sicily. The ruins of Carthage are in which present-day North African country?
Tunisia.
Yes. Michael. An ethnic group whose homeland is in the Western Pyrenees is struggling for independence from Spain. Name this ethnic group.
The Basques.
Right. Michael Lapatina. The ANZUS Treaty is an international defense treaty that takes its name from its 3 signatory countries. The U.S. and which 2 other countries signed this treaty?
New Zealand and Australia.
You are right, and that does it for this round. Matt, Minnesota's northwest angle, the northernmost point in the contiguous United States, extends north of the 49th parallel into which Canadian province?
Manitoba.
Sorry, I know it was very close there because Ontario and Manitoba border each other, but the correct response is Ontario, so that's the second miss for you. Jory, your question now. In 1962, France's largest remaining colony in North Africa gained its independence after a bitter war. Name this former colony.
Congo.
No, sorry. Algeria is what we were going for. Jeffrey Hoppus, over to you now. Just as Washington, D.C. is made up of land ceded by surrounding states, so Canberra, in Australia's capital territory, is built on land ceded by an Australian state. Name this Australian state.
New South Wales.
Yes. Noel, in 1981, Israel annexed a strategically important hilly area in southwestern Syria. Name this strategic region.
The Golan Heights.
Correct. Matthew, the ruins of Troy, an ancient city made famous in such epic poems as the Iliad and the Odyssey, are in Asia, in a country that borders the Aegean Sea. Name this country.
Turkey.
Correct. Nathan, circular fields commonly seen in aerial views of the central and western United States are evidence of what method of irrigation?
Artesian wells.
No, sorry. It is called the center pivot method. When you fly home, you'll possibly see some of them from the air. That's 2 misses for you, Nathan. Sorry. Michael Ring, over to you now. The Wazoo Strip is a disputed territory between Chad and its northern neighbor. Name this other country.
Libya.
Correct. Michael Lapatina. Scientists commonly divide volcanoes into 3 main groups based on their shape and the material they are made of. Name one of the main groups of volcanoes.
Pass.
The correct responses are cinder cone, composite, or shield. That's just your first miss, Michael. Don't worry about it. And we have to say goodbye to Nathan Ostrander of Ohio. Congratulations on getting this far, Nathan. And Matt Conrad of South Dakota. Congratulations to you as well. Jory's looking over to see how many students remain in competition in the lower level. All right, players, let's go to work again. Jory, your question. The Rhine-Main-Danube Canal system links dozens of inland ports between the North Sea and which other sea?
Black Sea.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Black Sea.
The Black Sea? Yes. The European headquarters, Jeffrey, of the United Nations is in a country that is not a member of that international organization. Name this European country.
Belgium?
No, sorry, that is wrong. Correct response? Switzerland. Switzerland. One miss for you. Noel, over to you. In 1992, gasoline from a leaky pipeline caused a series of explosions in a major industrial city northwest of Mexico City. In which city did this disaster occur?
Guadalajara.
Guadalajara, correct. Matthew Newbold. One of southern Africa's largest rivers forms the boundary between Zambia and Zimbabwe. Name this river.
Zambezi?
Zambezi, yes. Michael Ring. Name the so-called NIC, or newly industrializing country, that owes much of its development as a free port and distribution center to its position on the Strait of Malacca.
Singapore.
Correct. Michael Lepatina. Irrigation demands on the Amu Darya and Sir Darya have reduced the amount of water these rivers provide to a sea in Central Asia. Name this shrinking sea.
The Aral Sea?
Correct. Jory, we come back to you now. Crater Lake in Oregon occupies a depression that formed when a volcanic eruption caused the top of Mount Mazama to collapse inward, widening its crater. What's the term for such a depression?
Can you please repeat the question?
Yes. Crater Lake in Oregon occupies a depression that formed when a volcanic eruption caused the top of Mount Mazama to collapse inward, widening its crater. What's the term for such a depression?
Volcanic crater.
No, sorry, it is called a caldera. Caldera. Sorry, Jory. Jeffrey, over to you now. Which African country is a classic example of a so-called perforated state?
South Africa?
Right. Noel? The Treaty of Svalbard gave what country sovereignty over the Svalbard archipelago in the Arctic Ocean?
Norway.
Norway is right. Matthew Newbold. A landlocked country in South Asia is the world's only Hindu monarchy. Name this Asian country.
Laos.
No, sorry. Correct response? Nepal. Nepal. That's 2 strikes against you. Michael Ring. Part of the name of the largest dam on the Columbia River is derived from the term for a flat-bottomed channel carved into volcanic rock by glacial meltwater. What is this term?
Cooley?
Cooley is right. Michael Lepatina. The easternmost country on the Arabian Peninsula shares its name with a strategic gulf. Name this country.
Iran?
Iran is wrong. The correct response? Oman. O-M-A-N. That concludes this round, and we have to say goodbye to 3 players. Matthew Newbold, Michael Lapatina, and Jory Head. One of you remaining 3 is now $10,000 richer. Let's see who it is. Jeffrey, we'll begin with you. Name the regional international political organization that is working with the United Nations to restore Haiti's exiled president to power.
The Organization of American States?
Correct. Noel? Al Jazeera, a fertile region between the Blue Nile and the White Nile, is the principal cotton-producing region of which African country?
Sudan.
Right. Michael Ring. What is the term for the decayed plant and animal material that forms the organic portion of soil?
Humus?
Right. Back to Jeffrey Hops. Sephardic Jews are descendants of Jews who were exiled from which European peninsula in 1492?
Spain?
No, I'm sorry. You didn't listen to the question. The peninsula is the Iberian Peninsula. There is no possibility of Noel or Michael tying with Jeffrey since neither one of them has a miss. So, Jeffrey, we're going to say goodbye to you, but congratulations. You are our 3rd place winner. Jeffrey will be back in a few moments. We are now down to our two finalists, neither of whom has missed a question so far. In a few moments, they will begin the championship round, and one of them, of course, will emerge as the National Geography B champion for 1993. Now, while we take a few moments to reset the stage, we would like to acknowledge the teachers who have helped all of our contestants in their struggle to be here today. One of these teachers has nurtured not just one, but two state champions. In 1991, her student, Carlos Ross, became the Arizona state champion and then went on to place second in these nationals. This year, she can claim another Arizona state champion, Kyle Dalton. The teacher's name is Roxanne Kaiser.
In our book, we did. I definitely think I'm a difficult teacher. I think I expect a lot from the students academically, and I expect them to take on a lot of responsibility themselves. The thing that I think works best with children is to get them involved personally with it. So I try to use a lot of question-answer kinds of things. Before the State B, we did a game that I call Stump Kyle, and I do that kind of thing because I like the whole class to be involved and to make the rest of the students feel some ownership in him going to the B. And so it was a way for them to develop some research skills and learn some facts along with helping Kyle. Kyle and Carlos are very different. Kyle needs and likes the support of everybody around, and although Carlos liked that, I think he could handle everything very much on his own, very mature kind of learner.
Mrs. Kaiser was a good teacher. She was very supportive, especially up in Washington.
Yeah, she's a good teacher. She really helps out in the geography bee. She keeps me going. She's there to tell me what to expect, like in Washington, because she's done it with Carlos before. She's supportive. She's always there for me.
To have Carlos 2 years ago, which I thought the world of Carlos. He's very precocious. I loved working with him. And then to have Kyle, who's so different, quieter, a little bit more introspective. But to have them both excel, I knew they were very bright, but of course the competition is great. It just feels really strange to be doing it all over again, and I feel lucky that I've had these kids at all.
Roxanne Kaiser is typical of the many fine teachers who are educating our students all across this country and who are instilling in them a love of geography, and congratulations to all of you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we will begin the national championship round. In this round, Noel and Michael, you are competing with a clean slate, and the championship round will, as you know, consist of 5 questions. I will ask you the same question for both of you. You will have 12 seconds to write down your response, and then I will ask you to hold up your response and read it out loud for us. Whoever correctly answers the most questions will become the national champion. So if you're ready, you've got your pen and your paper. Here we go. Question number 1. Tagalog is one of the 3 main native languages of which island country in Asia? Noel, what did you write down?
Philippines.
Philippines is correct. Michael?
Indonesia.
Ooh, that's 1 mistake for you, and that means that Noel leads 1-0. Let's go to our next clue. What is the term for the series of stepped waterfalls or rapids along a region of the Nile that helped define the boundaries of various ancient civilizations? Noel?
The cataracts.
Correct. Michael?
Cataracts.
Cataracts. You too are right. And so the score is now 2-1 in favor of Noel. Name the land survey system that was introduced to North America by French settlers in the St. Lawrence River Valley. Name the land survey system that was introduced to North America by French settlers in the St. Lawrence River Valley. Noel?
Square Township.
No, sorry. Michael?
Township range.
Township range is incorrect. The system is called long lot, and so the score remains 2-1 as we go to question number 4. Name the only country in South America that is entirely outside the tropical latitudes. Name the only country in South America that is entirely outside the tropical latitudes. No?
Uruguay?
Uruguay is right.
Uruguay.
You too are correct, Michael. The score is now 3-2. Possibly the last question. Name the political region of Russia that is separated from the rest of the country by Lithuania and Poland. Name the political region of Russia that is separated from the rest of the country by Lithuania and Poland. Noel?
Kaliningrad?
Michael?
Kaliningrad.
Kaliningrad is correct, but that makes the score 4-3. Michael, you're finishing in second place, and Noel Jerry, congratulations. You're the 1993 National Geography Bee champion. Michael, well done, son. Well done. Noel, congratulations. Way to go. Hey there.
I thought, wow, I won, you know. I was thinking I got $25,000.
We are, my wife and your whole family is very proud of him.
I mean, that was just a thrilling feeling.
He, just set a goal and he achieved it.
It's unexplainable.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to the President and Chairman of the National Geographic Society, Mr. Gil Grosvenor.
Thanks, Alex. I think I speak for everyone in this room when I say that I'm glad I didn't have to answer those questions. Our 10 finalists, indeed all 57 state and territory champions, are truly amazing. In the 5 years that we have hosted the National Geography Bee, these are clearly the finest group of geographers we've seen. Each year, the Geography Bee grows bigger and better. And in 1993, we've grown again as it moves into the international arena. This July, our 3 winners here today, along with Alex Trebek, will travel to London, England for the first International Geography Olympiad, where they will compete against students from Russia and the United Kingdom. We wish them success in what we hope is the beginning of a new tradition in geography education. And now, to present the scholarship checks to our 3 winners.
Our third place winner, the recipient of a $10,000 scholarship, is Jeffrey Hoppus from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Our second place winner, the recipient of a $15,000 scholarship, is Michael Ring from Milford, Massachusetts, here representing the state of Rhode Island. And our National Geography Bee champion for 1993, a 4th place finisher last year, 1st place this year, from Michigan, Noel Jerry. And that, ladies and gentlemen, concludes the National Geography Bee for 1993. I'm Alex Trebek. Come see us again next year. So long, everyone.
Sunday evening at 7:30, E.G. Marshall is your host for the National Memorial Day Concert 1993. And that's followed at 9 o'clock by The American Experience and If You Knew Sousa. That's all Sunday night. But right now, stay tuned for Rumpole of the Bailey on Mystery, next here on TV 12.